What do you think these, being on the bubble for these couple days and playing two good teams is going to, will be a good time to find out about your team?
Yeah, definitely. It's the equivalent of playing that that invaluable MTE type of event where you see teams physically that have like the high major talent, high level athletes, guys. These are like high major games, and they're exciting games to play because you're going to find out a lot about your team and what's the best course of action coming out of it. And then they're also too, if you don't feel like unlike the first two games where you're playing low to mid major types, you actually get a chance to go for what would be a really good win as opposed to avoid losing a game that would really blow up your season, especially if you aspire to be a team that's playing in March. So it's exciting to have a chance to not have to go after a win that you might have to apologize for if you don't win by enough or play well enough.
Tom?
Hey, Dan. I imagine you've seen some of USC's first three games. What stands out about them? What's impressed you about them?
Yeah, I mean, just their overall, obviously the overall team size. It's impressive. There's not many, teams I don't think in the country that have their type of size or length or their type of emphasis on throwing the ball inside. Obviously the Mobley twins or the Mobley brothers, excuse me. Those guys are, like Isaiah Mobley is, you've got an NBA player and then you have a potential top pick. So you've got a draftable player at 6'10", and then you got the 7-footer who's a potential number 1 pick. So, they've got great team size. Peterson, played great, and it's a tough matchup because of his size and skill. Edey looked real comfortable, and again, they've got, depth and they keep bringing size in that front court with Goodwin and obviously those Mobleys.
Dave Borges?
Yeah, Dan, given that size, is this a game where certainly a guy like Adama might, it's going to be a little bit of a crash course for him maybe, and Isaiah, and maybe a little more Josh tonight. Obviously, he didn't play at all the last game, and was that disciplinary or just coach's decision on that one? And does he have a chance to maybe show himself a little bit more tomorrow on, with minutes and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, there was reasons for it. For where Josh was at in the rotation, coach's decision, or just things that that he needed to address. So to be what we need him to be as a senior with a ton of experience and a guy who should be invaluable to the team. So yeah. I mean, this is obviously a game that all of the front court players, it's like an all hands on deck with the size and the quality that they just keep throwing at you in the front court. I mean, even Javante, Richie Springs, all of our front court guys have got to be ready because they throw it inside, and those guys are a problem down there because they're super skilled and know how to play against double teams, and they duck in deep post position. They can catch and face. All hands on deck.
Joe Zone?
Yes, Dan, I know that you talked about before you committed to these games, you wanted to make sure your guys were physically ready. How much did you consider whether they were competitively ready?
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with necessarily the quality of play. There's the overall quality of play. For a lot of people, it's going to take some time. It's going to take through a handful of conference games to start to really find the rhythm and know exactly who you are and have roles solidified and identified. And we're going to continue to get better. My look at what we were going to do this week was whether to play 3 games or this week or to play 2, and then based on just player welfare, taking care of our players physically, making sure that we didn't do too much after missing so much time. But the decision was made for us. The decision was made for us like middle of practice on Sunday when we were going to make a kind of a decision on Sunday after that practice. I'm not going to tell you which way I was leaning or where we were leaning, but we found out that Vandy was out midway through that practice on Sunday.
Charlotte?
Hey, Dan, thanks for doing this. With a Cook being cleared for practice, has he practiced yet in that 5-on-5 full court kind of situation, or if so, how's he look?
Yeah, he's gotten a chance to get up and down in the 5-on-5, which was he looks really great in terms of his health. He's got a little bit of a hamstring tweak, let's say, or a slight strain. So, we shut him down today, and we'll do the best we can with getting him some conditioning and some cardio, and then come out of this week. I think he's gonna. I think he'll have a couple of weeks. I think once we get out of here, realistically, where if he could play, again, multiple possessions, and I think he's. I still think he's a couple of weeks away. Maybe I don't want to put a timeline on him, but don't look for him in the next couple of weeks.
Back to Gavin.
If you're playing these quality opponents, you've been talked last week about the kids playing 40 minutes, the entire 40 minutes hard. You think the quality of the opponent can kind of bring that out of them a little bit more, knowing if they don't, that they could be in trouble?
You certainly would hope so and think so. They've watched the film. They saw what these guys did to a really good BYU team. An experienced, older, really good BYU team on a neutral court. They saw the, what they did to those guys. So there's certainly, when you watch the film and you watch the edit, and you certainly understand that we better be at our toughest and most competitive, because they've got some just serious athletic talent out there and size.
Tom, back to you.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've talked to some other coaches, Bobby or Big East coaches, about the Bubbleville experience. I'm wondering what kind of reviews, I know you just got there, what kind of reviews have you heard from the others who've been in and out of there in terms of what it's like and how it's run?
Yeah, just rave reviews, and the staff at Mohegan, all the individuals that are involved in these games here at the Hall of Fame, Rick Giles, Greg Prasino, again, all the people at Mohegan here. We got here today and it was well-oiled machine in terms of entry and getting us in and getting us tested. And, obviously now we get to our rooms and we quarantine here on our floor. And, we'll meet later tonight in the hallway, and, we'll watch the edit and have a team meeting tonight at 9 o'clock tonight. We'll watch it against the wall in the hallway on a projector, and we'll get ready to go tomorrow. It's exciting. It's exciting to play an exciting game. Again, one that, if you want to, you want to be a team that plays in the NCAA tournament, you've got to beat quality opponents. So there's a chance to get one.
Are they doing saliva tests or sticking with the swab tests?
I think that may be a HIPAA violation, Don, that you're asking me to, Phil?
I believe it is a violation.
Is that so, Tom? Really bad job with that on your part. You're digging deep.
Well, the company doing saliva tests is like pushing it. They're sending out emails, so that's why.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can say what I personally took, right, Phil?
Sure.
Yeah, I personally took the PCP. Yes. You got to wait longer for that one. They say it's about a 12 to maybe 14-hour window before we get the results back.
Dave?
Yeah, Dan, I mean, I know, it's impossible to predict the future or look too much far ahead at any time this season, but are you actively looking for another game between NC State and the start of the Big East season for next week?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're looking at, potentially, the 7th, if we could find the right dance partner for us. Is that Monday or is that Tuesday, Phil?
That's the 7th is Monday.
Yeah. So, I think that, coming out of those games, we were looking to do 3 games before Big East play. So we'd be looking for, like a really good game.
Wayne, Norman?
If we could get that.
Dan, USC averages 16 turnovers a game in their first 3. Is that an area you really have to exploit in this game?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to try to take advantage of. It's almost like you've got to play 2 different, types of defense. You've got to get after these guys. Especially, with the. With their lack of guard depth, that's probably the only area where, with the back spasms the other night, and just overall being, having more like a bigger wing, bigger front court team, you almost got to play. It's almost like 2 different types of defensive. You got to have from the backcourt into the scoring area, you've got to take one approach, and then once that ball gets into the scoring area, that floor you can't get spread out too much, because they do uncanny with the way that they run their ball screen game and throw it up to the Mobley brothers on the pick and roll. And if that court is too open up and you let those guys play in space in the post or at the horns, you're going to have a long, long night.
John Fanta?
Dan, obviously everybody's on a different roadmap in this college basketball season, but typically you'd have, November and then a fair portion of December to get ready for whatever your league play is. Can you just speak to, obviously you have an uplift in competition, but just how crucial it is the next week and change with what you have ahead in your league?
Yeah, it's just obviously the most important part of our season, begins on December 11th with the St. John's game, and then the 19 conference games after that. But this is an important week for us, really to really find out a lot of things about where we're at. Are we on the right course in terms of the style we're playing? the players that we're playing, the roles that we're, putting players into. So, because obviously Southern Cal and NC State is, a lot like you're going to find in the Big East. And, in the first two, our first two games, there's a lot of fool's gold. In terms of the things that you get away with in those games, you're not going to get away with, against the opponents that we're going to see from here on out. So, we're excited. We're ready to go. We want to play, games like this again, where there's a lot to gain from winning, especially, starting tomorrow night where, Southern Cal was so impressive versus BYU.
I guess to follow, what's something that you're seeing in practice with your group that you'd like to see translate more consistently in these upcoming games?
It's been chaos the last, we've practiced 3 of the last 4 days, and it's been a cauldron of intensity because of the last 23 minutes of that Hartford game. So, full disclosure, it's been a revolving door of players going from the starting team to the second team. There's a standard at the defensive end with your there's a standard at the defensive end that you've got to uphold. There's a standard of toughness that you've got to uphold if you're going to play for me on the backboard as a teammate, as a guy that's not hunting shots. I mean, there were some things in the first 2 games that we didn't feel real good about. Everyone's position on this team has been up for grabs the last 2 days. We're trying to send a message that obviously we weren't happy with the first 2 days, and that we need to be a much tougher team. And that starts tomorrow night.
Roger, Cleveland.
Related to that, did you gain something out of not playing on Tuesday? Did that extra time in practice show you something about the team that you needed to see?
I think it just gave us a better chance to try to develop a tougher team, because we had 3, we ended up having an extra day of practice. So we had an extra day of a tough practice. Teams become tough, teams become gritty, individuals become tougher, obviously when they go through a difficult training or difficult practice schedule, and they not only survive it but thrive in it, and show more backbone and show more grit. So we wanted to play on Tuesday. We were looking forward to getting 3 games in easily before that St. John's opener, but I think that the extra time gave us an opportunity to to grind these guys up and to set more of a tone for how our team wants to look here in terms of competitive fire. Toughness.
So is the biggest thing that you want to see out of tomorrow's game then that grit come out in the team in a game?
Yeah, well, listen, execution is going to be messy. You're going to have defensive mistakes because you just haven't had enough time to understand all aspects of the system. So how do teams still win, or how do teams still give themselves a chance to win? Togetherness, toughness, playing for each other, being physical, not letting, not getting beat off the dribble the way we were beaten off the dribble consistently in the first 2 games. Toughness things, putting a body on somebody. We need to see growth that way. We'll continue to get better offensively and defensively as the season goes on, but we got to be tough. It'll be tough.
Noam, did you have a question, or was that it?
Yeah, sure. Just a quick note about Tyrese. He had 5 offensive rebounds, and it looked like USC was really struggling on the defensive boards during stretches of the game yesterday. Do you think it's a game where we could see more of Tyrese? I know you said after Hartford that he's going to get more and more minutes as he gets, more in tune with what the team's doing.
Yeah. he'll certainly have an opportunity to, again, it all comes down to, like, for me, being able to really defend, being able to rebound your position. And then, for Tyrese, it's all about, at the offensive end of the court, shooting rhythm threes and then getting downhill and attacking the front of the rim, to either finish or get to the foul line, getting on the offensive glass, getting on the defensive glass, being a dog on defense, staying out of like settling in the mid range for pull-ups. He's a key guy for us. It's gonna take us time to to coach some things with him that need to get better. But he's a guy that when he's on the court, he makes us tougher, and we just haven't looked very tough in the first two games. My teams historically are known for relentless toughness and relentless competitiveness, and I got to get 5 guys on the court at all times that reflect that.
Neil?
Dan, how'd you come out of the Hartford game health-wise? I know Book took a shot on his 5th foul there and was pretty woozy, but how do you guys come out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty good. Book had a slight thumb. Other than that, minus a Cook having a little hamstring thing, we're good to go.
Anybody else have a question? No more hands up? No?